Reunion. On the commons at the end of Main Street, the 150-year-old spruce tree is hung with carved figurines and candles for Christmas Eve. Each evening, carolers grace the town hall steps, while across the way in the Cultural Hall, the estimable ladies of the Bell Falls League, under the direction of Mrs. Pastor Gideon Iris Ann Howe, work tirelessly to prepare baskets of food for the poor and needy. Not many needy, of course, in these self-reliant parts. Only old Sam Wills, stubborn in his cabin, too old to properly care for himself. And Heber Jones's widow, though her sons are coming along now and will very soon take up the slack. But among the ladies of the League, a days-old debate about the poor in spirit on the other side of Abnack Pond. At last, a generous decision is taken to consider her a widow, wherever the odd landscape painter has gone, whatever her just deserts, out there aloof, alone by choice, spurning all Christian kindness. A basket, then, for the widow Stethington Mead. A basket, a gesture of charity, no matter how fruitless. Of charity and goodwill. Who do they think they are, judging her like that? I heard my father mutter. But father didn't seem to be lifting a hand himself to help her. Nor did Constable Uncle Tim. Nor more did Uncle Gideon, the man of the cloth. Meanwhile, we boys, our minds on Christmas and wary of Meadside Farm, abandoned our mischief, leaving Gamaliel once again free to visit the pond every day and stand there staring across the ice toward the falls in peace. From behind the wall, I watched him, as he stood squinting out into the grey afternoon through the snow fog rising from the pasture. Twice, 3 times, I saw him venture out onto the pond, deliberately, as if courting danger. I knew his sensation as he struggled to keep his footing, walking on frozen water faced with the fear and the attraction of the falls, suddenly fluid at the edge of the ice. What was he thinking, I wondered? That he could find his father there? But even I had begun to think that the strange landscape painter could not be his father. Gamaliel should have a better father than that. They ought to lock him in the loony bin, scowled Henry, arriving at my side with Peter, rubbing a finger across the fresh scar on his head. Uncle Tim should put him in jail, insisted Andy, tossing an apple at Peter. Your Uncle Tim couldn't put a chicken in jail, scoffed Peter, giving Andy a punch. Pick on someone your own size, I hollered, giving Peter a shove. Tim's boys rose to defend their father, and Henry took on both of them at once, and suddenly we were all fighting, which left our beleaguered mothers angry enough to leave the lot of us locked in the woodshed until we made up. For weeks our mothers had been baking the breads, cakes, pies for the Christmas Eve feast, when descendants of Ephraim and Rebecca Howe from near and far would gather at Howside Farm to eat and make merry and to celebrate my father's birthday before going off to hear Uncle Gideon preach. Now, we dozen guilty Howes, locked away, starving, tortured by delectable aromas, repented fervently and loudly until at last Christmas mercy arrived, my mother with a key. Let out of our woodshed prison, we revelled in Christmas Eve. The feast, the celebration, singing, stories, memories of countless Christmases at Howside Farm. After which we younger folks spent the afternoon out of doors, sledding, sliding, skating on the pond. And as night fell, toasting sausages around the bonfire in the yard, carousing in the barn, swinging on the rope, diving from the loft into fresh hay warmed by the presence of beasts. Along about 6 o'clock, coming in from the barn for fruitcake and hot cider, I witnessed a most startling event. We were accustomed to Grandfather Luther, grey and still, sitting upright in his chair, rocking, staring blankly into the fire, wrapped in the old quilt his mother, Rebecca, had made for him when he was a child. So attached was he to this tattered patchwork that my mother, to wash it, must pry it from his hands as he slept. We were accustomed to Luther's silence, broken rarely by a sudden dark moan. But tonight it was as if he suddenly woke to another state, making a strange high sound like the voice of an injured child. And then he spoke. "Mother," he cried, as clear as day. "I'm here, Mother." And he slumped back into his wide-eyed, stroke-sound sleep.